Well, John Blaxland is a professor of international security and intelligence studies at the Australian National University and was also Australia's defence attaché to Myanmar. He joins us now from Canberra for more on this. Great to have you on the programme. You know, obviously hearing international condemnation, and the international community, I should say, condemning this trial and the judgment. But will this have any impact, you think, on the military, given your experience dealing with them in Myanmar?
Yeah, thanks, Karishma. It's pretty clear to me that the Tatmadaw, the military of Burma, are set on their ways, and they are about discrediting and marginalising Aung San Suu Kyi and ensuring that she has no opportunity to make a political comeback. Sentencing her makes her deemed unfit for Parliament, for the Luto, and this is sending a very clear message to her supporters as well in the National Unity Government, in the insurrections around the country, in the major cities, that this is about demoralising them and trying to suck the oxygen out of their will to fight, because they know that there's momentum that has been building for some time and that they have not been in a strong position to really grapple with the incredible resolve people are showing in resistance to the military's will ever since the coup in February.
Indeed, John, so given what you've just described, will the junta be successful in its attempts to take the oxygen, as you put it, out of the resistance?
Look, it depends. They are certainly facing more resistance than they'd anticipated. They had, set out the roadmap to democracy, which I would contend was actually more of a cul-de-sac than a highway. And they all along had a plan to contain democracy and use it for their own purposes to gain economic advantage, really for the pretty selfish reasons. And when that started to unravel, when the National League for Democracy started winning hands down electoral outcomes, from the elections from late last year, it became clear to Min Aung Hlaing, the Tatmadaw leader, that essentially, were they to retain power, they would need to marginalise the NLD and Aung San Suu Kyi. And of course, they had not anticipated the pushback. They thought they could suppress things like they've done in the past, repeatedly through the history of Myanmar, Burma. And what we're seeing is that that's proving much more difficult for them to achieve. The question now is, what does the international community do?
Yes, precisely. And just briefly, what does it do, John?
Well, China has got an enormous sway here. It's got enormous investments in China, but its neighbours in Southeast Asia, particularly the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have a role to play. Thailand in particular, the Prime Minister of Thailand himself, a former general who managed to actually have a form of democracy without taking the extreme brutal measures that the Burmese have taken, is perhaps a model. But the Magnitsky Act, I think this is something very significant. Australia's introduced it, the United States has it. This is something that needs to be proliferated.
John Blaxland there, thank you so much for joining us on the programme.